I cannot live without books. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask, act. Action will delineate and define you. I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. Honesty is the first chapter of the book Wisdom. The legitimate powers of government extend to such acts only as are injurious to others. It does me no injury for my neighbor to say there are 20 gods or no God. It neither picks my pocket nor breaks my leg. The man who reads nothing at all is better educated than the man who reads nothing but newspapers. I sincerely believe that backing establishments are more dangerous than standing armies, and that the principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding is but swindling futurity on a large scale. On matters of style, swim with the current. On matters of principle, stand like a rock. The most valuable of all talents is that of never using to words when one will do. I'm a greater believer in luck, and I find the harder I work the more I have of it. We in America do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences attending to much liberty and to those attending to small a degree of it. Our civil rights have no dependence on our religious opinions, any more than our opinions in physics or geometry. History, in general, only informs us what bad government is. Nothing gives one person so much advantage over another as to remain always cool and unruffled under all circumstances. I have observed, indeed generally, that while in Protestant countries the defections from the Platonic Christianity of the priests is to deism, in Catholic countries they are to atheism. Diderot, D'Alembert, D'Holbach, Condorcet are known to have been among the most virtuous of men there. Virtue, then, must have had some other foundation than the love of God. The people cannot be all and always well informed. The part which is wrong will be discontented in proportion to the importance of the facts they misconceive. If they remain quiet under such misconceptions, it is lethargy, the forerunner of death to the public liberty. What country before ever existed a century and a half without a rebellion, and what country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. The remedy is to set them right as to facts, pardon and pacify them. What signify a few lives lost in a century or two? The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is its natural manure. Determined never to be idle, no person will have occasion to complain of the want of time who never loses any. It is wonderful how much may be done if we are always doing. I had rather be shut up in a very modest cottage with my books, my family, and a few old friends dining on simple bacon and letting the world roll on as it liked, than to occupy the most splendid post which any human power can give. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. I hold it that a little rebellion now and then is a good thing, and is necessary in the political world as storms in the physical. Unsuccessful rebellions indeed generally establish the encroachments on the rights of the people which have produced them. An observation of this truth should render honest republican governors so mild in their punishment of rebellions as not to discourage them too much. It is a medicine necessary for the sound health of government. I know no safe depository of the ultimate powers of the society, but the people themselves. And if we think them not enlightened enough to exercise their control with a wholesome discretion, the remedy is not to take it from them, but to inform their discretion by education. This is the true corrective of abuses of constitutional power, and to preserve their independence. We must not let our rulers load us with perpetual debt. We must make our election between economy and liberty, or profusion and servitude. If we run into such debts as that we must be taxed in our meat and in our drink, in our necessaries and our comforts, in our labors and our amusements, for our callings and our creeds, as the people of England are, our people like them, must come to labor 16 hours in the 24, give the earnings of 15 of these to the government for their debts and daily expenses, and the 16th being insufficient to afford us bread, we must live, as they now do, on oatmeal and potatoes, have no time to think, no means of calling them as managers to account, but be glad to obtain subsistence by hiring ourselves to rivet their chains on the necks of our fellow sufferers. Although I rarely waste time in reading on theological subjects, as mangled by our pseudo-Christians, yet I can readily suppose Bassanistos may be amusing. Ridicule is the only weapon which can be used against unintelligible propositions. Ideas must be distinct before reason can act upon them, and no man ever had a distinct idea of the Trinity. It is mere abracadabra of the Mount, banks calling themselves the priests of Jesus. If it could be understood, it would not answer their purpose. Their security is in their faculty of shedding darkness, like the scuttlefish, through the element in which they move, and making it impenetrable to the eye of a pursuing enemy, and there they will skulk. It is not to be understood that I am with him, Jesus, in all his doctrines. I am a materialist. He takes the side of spiritualism. He preaches the efficacy of repentance toward forgiveness of sin. I require a counterpoise of good works to redeem it. Among the sayings and discourses imputed to him by his biographers, I find many passages of fine imagination, correct morality, and of the most lovely benevolence, and others again of so much ignorance, so much absurdity, so much untruth, charlatanism, and imposture, as to pronounce it impossible that such contradictions should have proceeded from the same being.